Hello, everyone, and welcome to the regularly scheduled board meeting of the Akron Public Schools Board of Education on 26 September 2022. We're excited to be here and good to see everyone in the crowd here attending. We're going to start off with a roll call. Mr. Atkins.
Dr. Akbar.
Here.
Mr. Alexander.
Present.
Ms. Autry.
Here.
Dr. Hall. Ms. Jackson.
Present.
Mrs. McTitcher.
Here.
Mr. Perry.
I'm here.
Thank you very much, and just wanted to acknowledge Mr. Atkins for being here at the last minute, as Mr. Pendleton and Mr. Hall, Dr. Hall, are both in an important negotiation meeting. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and do our Pledge of Allegiance. And prior to the Pledge of Allegiance, we will have the presentation of colors by our color guard from Bookdale CLC. We have Cadet Technical Sergeant Coggins, the commander of the cadets there, as well as Cadet Technical Sergeant Brown, Cadet Staff Sergeant Tremmel, and Cadet Senior Airman Nolams. And we will ask everyone to stand as we present the colors.
Color guards and shot. Carry colors. Forward. March. Color guard. Halt. Present. Arms.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Order. Arms. Color guard. Post. March.
Thank you very much. You may be seated. We want to take this time as we wait for our students to come back to also thank Colonel Ariano for leading our cadets.
I am Cadet Technical Sergeant Coggins. I am commander of the Color Guard. I would like to tell you about the things high school at JROTC, which the community service we are required to do. So far, we have done the rubber ducks game. We did that a while ago. We presented the colors for that game. We also presented the colors for the open house carnival before school even started. We just helped around. Teachers, staff helped build the chairs, set it up, all that. We also helped with the Veterans Outreach. The Veterans Outreach is helping disabled, homeless, or starving veterans. We helped them get in lines. We helped them get their clothes, get food. We also have been to all the Bookdale home games, which we have won since we've been to them, which we are 2-0. And we also presented the color guard for the field ceremony for our new field.
Hello, my name is Lamaria Tremmel. I am a staff sergeant in JROTC, known as Staff Sergeant Tremmel. I am a second-year cadet, and after high school, I plan to go pro for track, hopefully, and get into nursing.
Hi, I'm Technical Sergeant Delancia Brown. I'm a second-year cadet and a sophomore. I am also a color guard commander, and after high school, I plan on going to the Air Force Academy.
Hello, I am Cadet James Nellums. I am Senior Enlisted Advisor, Senior Airman. I plan after high school to go into the Air Force and just kind of enlist for as many years as possible.
seeing them as we go through this year. We're going to our first drill meet in 4 years. We're going to be at East for that. We've got a number of competition teams for that. This is the first year in quite a while that we've had the infrastructure and the continuity with returning cadets to be able to do that. We'll also be entering a step team as an exhibition, and they'll be going to nationals as well. Step team is something we've never done here before, and we're very excited. We've got a group of cadets who are very excited to put a routine together for that. And we'll also have a first-year team that they'll be competing against only other first-year cadets. So they'll be demonstrating what they've learned in marching up to this point. As most of you know, the marching is really, really difficult to learn, and then they have to learn it. They have to memorize a certain pattern, and they've got to be able to do it perfectly because they've got judges all around them critiquing their movements. So you'll be seeing them at our football games, and we do plan on winning every time our color guard is present. And for homecoming, we'll actually have our entire cadet corps out there, and they'll be the lineup. The football players will run through our entire cadet corps. And they've also been volunteering, helping the Booster Club. We've had a number of cadets at the games helping with the concession stands to support the Booster Club as well. So they're really working on getting more involved in their community and their school, and helping to mentor younger cadets and show them what they get out of that community service. So we're very, very proud of them. And we're really proud, Cadet Nellums is a second-year cadet also. And all 4 of these cadets are leading this entire cadet corps as second-year cadets. So we think, especially the ones that don't graduate this year, we're going to see a lot of good stuff out of them in the future. Any other questions?
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
For the young lady, the track star, how can you can enter into the Olympics as a high school student? Is that a thing? Do you know? Is it?
It kind of technically depends on like how you are. So like I think usually after so many years that you go into states, like after your high school 4 years, you can usually go into the Olympics, and they could take you right after that. So like if I wanted to do college, which I do, it's one college actually in Indiana that actually does track, so I can enter there and actually go into the Olympics at the same time.
Okay, excellent. I just thought I'd inquire about that because I hear some great things happening at 1040 with that track team. So I think that's not a distant dream. I think that's very possible for you. So I'll be keeping you in prayer that you obtain that.
Thank you.
Thank you. And then for the you two, was it just you two on the end that said you're looking to go into the service, to the Air Force? I don't.
These two, for sure, yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, excellent. Because I think you presented before and said that. Now, are you looking at college as well as the Air Force? Are you looking at Air Force Reserve or actually?
So I want to go to the Air Force Academy, which is actually a military college.
Excellent. Okay. Yeah, so you can be officer, huh?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, that's what I want to see. Yeah. Okay. And then what about you, Mr. Nellum?
My plan is to do the same thing. I'm planning to go into the Air Force so that then I can go to college and study as an engineer.
Okay. Okay, good. All right. Thank you.
We're very proud. We have very, very smart and talented cadets in our corps, and we're very proud of them.
Thank you. And thank you also for what you're doing with these young people.
Thank you very much, and keep up the great work as a person who is a beneficiary of the GI Bill through the military as well. That is something that can be possible if you don't see being able to pay for school. That really does help you, because I know it helped me, and that's why I'm sitting here today. So keep up doing the great work. Thank you.
As my cadets are leaving, I just wanted to, for our board members, you've each been given a challenge coin, just to kind of, if you're not familiar with the history of the challenge coins, it's a unit morale item. You obviously know the deal is, once you've been given a challenge coin, if Sir DeSoro and I run into you at a bar, if you don't have yours, then you're buying us around.
I know.
But the challenge coins, commanders usually get them to their top performers. When we have VIPs come to a unit, the VIPs a lot of times will get that. And then over the course of a career, your challenge coins a lot of times are kind of an unofficial documentation of your military career. So we never throw these away. They're very very valuable to us because you're usually given a challenge coin for doing something pretty spectacular. But we wanted to thank you guys. You have given them so many opportunities to show what they're learning and to talk about what they're learning that we really appreciate their time here in front of you guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We definitely have the brightest and the best in the room today. And with that being said, we want to go to community and school reflections. Any community and school reflections from board members? Mr. Perry.
Thank you, Mr. President. I had a few things I did since last time we came for a meeting. First off, I went to a couple of schools here in Akron, Sam Salem and Garfield. I had a good time. Both of those schools' principals, Sibbett and Morrison, showed me around, and very impressive, especially at the high school, to go through and see the new building and the theater that they have there, and the ROTC room was very nice. All the things they were doing with all the different skills that they teach there is pretty impressive. The carpentry, the engineering, all those things are just state-of-the-art, world-class facilities. So thanks for inviting me out to your schools. Also had a chance to go with my little son to Father's Walk at Resnick this past Thursday. Very important event for dads to be there, to see all the dads I haven't seen in a while. So had a great time there that morning. We got donuts and food and everything, and it was nice. So thanks for inviting me out to your school, Principal Corv, with that. I know we're going to also hear about the Sojourner Truth project in a little while. I was there last week. Saw our superintendent was there as well. It was a great presentation. I really enjoyed that. Never been to that theater before. It was nice though. Never been in there, but it was very nice. Had a great presentation. We took pictures. It was just a great event. So a lot of things that I did. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Perry. Anyone else? Ms. Autry?
Thank you, Mr. President. And so since we last met, we've had a lot of things happen, and so I was able to visit several schools in my cluster and out. But I'll start off by stating that I visited Robinson CLC, and Mr. Lane and his team there seem to be doing really well. I will be returning there. They're taking really advantage of their sixth graders there in terms of being leaders and mentors. As you know, the East cluster is the one cluster where the sixth graders are still in the elementary building. So he's just taking advantage of that by allowing those sixth graders to demonstrate their leadership skills by helping out the younger grades. And they also have a really strong partnership with the Holy Lutheran Trinity Church. And so they've invited me back for their spooktacular, so I'm thinking about my costume for that. Also, I had my second visit at Cyberling CLC, and they're coming along really well there. Those students were really inquisitive. I was able to visit Mrs. King's class. They had questions surrounding why Pizza Day was moved back, so hoping they can get an answer about that. I was able to visit Mrs. Fuller's class, and they had a lot of questions about what we do here. They asked me about 9/11, what I was doing. They wanted to know how old I was. And so CJ, he said I was 30, and so CJ got $1. But I was happy to see those classrooms. Most of them had mission statements that the students came up with themselves, so very empowering for those students. And many of those teachers as well had mental health checks. So they had different systems in which the students can kind of let the teacher know how they're feeling, so the teacher can know how to approach them throughout the day. So I found that to be a very good thing. And so Cyberling was an exciting school to visit. I'll be going back as well. Also was able to visit Mason CLC, Mrs. Coaches and her team. Again, looks like they're getting off to a really good start. The students were really engaged. I was able to visit their outdoor classroom, courtesy of a GAR grant, and it was set up really nice. They've done many different things out there, as well as mindfulness presentations from students at Kent State, and so thought that was a really good use of the space. Also, just wanted to give a shout out to the Father's Walk at the middle and high schools. You don't usually see fathers or parents as engaged at that level, but at East Middle and High School and Bookdale Middle and High School, there was a nice turnout of fathers. So congratulations to those men and father figures for showing up. Continue to do so. And so one of the more exciting things, of course, was the Cleveland Browns over at East CLC and their presentation of the Stay in the Game room. Really nice incentive that they have over there for students who are doing well, attendance-wise. They have game rooms and snacks. And I got to see Superintendent shuffle some cards. I can tell she has some experience in that. So that was really nice. She beat the kids in Uno. And so also, of course, at Bookdale 1040, it was so exciting, excuse me, to be there for the dedication of the turf. Once again, that community, on behalf of them, we're really happy and excited and thank the Browns for that opportunity. It was nice to see the Pee Wee Association there as well, taking advantage of that. And we're looking forward to enjoying that field. And thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Autry. Anyone else? Ms. Jackson.
Thank you, Mr. President. Since the last time we met, I had the pleasure to attend a PTA meeting at Bookdale CLC. It was different and it was a wonderful experience. I love that I saw many of the cheerleaders were there, as well as some parents, and as well as the cheer coach was there. And it was just an eclectic mix of people who represented the school. And so also they had a representative from Project Grad, and I liked how they talked about scholarship and ways that students can engage in helping to raise money and bring awareness to the school for things that they may need. And how they really promoted collaboration amongst everyone in the building. Everyone could play a part in order to build upon the brand and the things that they want to see in the school. So I was very excited about that. And I'm excited to attend other meetings and see how I can further assist. I think I'm going to have to get me a membership before I leave today, give you my money. So that was a great thing. Also, it was very nice speaking to Tierra Autry, who works for Project Grad, and just hearing all the ways that they're looking to assist the students in Bookdale, even though you may not be a direct member of Project Grad, but how you can utilize those resources. So definitely excited about how to leverage that when we talk about students applying for scholarships and writing labs or professional development days for seniors, to be able to really focus on having a form essay where all seniors can know about the monies available and all can be able to apply for scholarships. So that was a great thing. Also, I'll have the pleasure to visit Krause. Principal's Miss Bruce, and I know it's hyphenated, so my apologies. Please help me out, Mary. Bruce Bentley, okay, because I want to show respect. Mrs. Bruce Bentley at Krause. And, I really love when I go to a school and I can just walk around. It's very comfortable for me when I don't feel like, people are on me like the CIA. When I can just see the students and I can speak to the kids and I can speak to the teachers. To me, it speaks to the climate of the building in essence. For me, that's just my opinion, and I enjoy it because we can all be relaxed and just have just talk and enjoy what's happening in the building. And so I was glad to see, as an educator and as an educational administrator, I understand how buildings flow. So it's not a perfect mix. It's a lot of moving parts and things constantly happening. So I came at a very busy part because I go to the schools at 1 o'clock. So there were a lot of different things going on. I had the opportunity to visit a class. I believe they were second graders and they were in the library. I was so impressed because these kids were like how we're sitting down with their technology, just sitting. And it was the assistant that was there was a substitute, and so they were trying to figure out things. But it spoke to processes and procedures that I know must be in place in that building, because the students were sitting there that they understood some type of expectation, even though the teacher was not giving that expectation. I said, oh, this must be a classroom thing. Because they were not running around, they were not loud, they were just sitting there. And so then I just start walking around like, what y'all supposed to be on? Let me help y'all, log on. And so that was very pleasant. Then I visit Miss Crook's class, Miss Crook's class was a kindergarten class, and it was during math class, and I loved how she used multiple forms of instruction. She had the visual aid up. Her students were in groups. She had a college student there that was observing her class, but what I liked about what Miss Crook did, yeah, I'm at Wright School, Krause. Miss Crook is in Krause, right, y'all? Kindergarten, yes, kindergarten class. And so I don't want to mix up the schools. And so what I liked is that she had the visual up for the students. And it was, again, the I do, you do, we do. And this girl was like dynamic. And the reason why I say that because she went to her projector, modeled the thing, ran over to her princess table, because each table had a name, they were themed something, worked it out with them, kids raising their hand, oh, Miss Crook, and she was just multitasking. It was a beautiful thing to see an educator do that. But I was like, dang, that's a lot. I was like, girl, what kind of vitamins are you on? Like, what are you doing? Because I need some of that. But that's what great teachers do differently. And it was clear that she had a love and a heart for her kids, and real learning was happening. So I was glad to be a witness of that in Krause, and just to see the students and to get a piece of just that energy. Okay, that's it for Krause. Then I went to Schumacher, and I met this teacher that just was like a warm chocolate chip cookie on any given day. It was just like entering her classroom. I didn't want to leave her classroom. And her name was Mrs. Connolly. She's a kindergarten teacher. And I just immediately, Superintendent, I just felt happy. Like, I went into her classroom and I just was like, I love you. Like, lady, this is what education is about. Her kids were on task. She was redirecting and correcting in the same breath. She was affirming the students in the same breath as she corrected them. She was giving out treats. They were practicing the iReady test. The transitions were seamless. They went from math, and then they were going into reading, and she was explaining to me her processes and how the days she doesn't have special, they spend this much time preparing for iReady. And I was just like, you are exceptional. And then I look over and I see the teacher of the year. I said, oh. I said, I didn't even have to see that to know that, because excellence looks different. So whether you had an award or not, this is who you were. But it only makes sense that she had an award. So I was just very happy to see that and to be a part of that. And then Miss Nath, I went into her classroom. She was teaching a math lesson. Respect. That's all I can say. Great respect for this teacher. And I believe her class is first. Is it first? Does she have first or second grade, Mary? Okay, well, Miss Neff, who's also, I want to say she's either first or second grade, but in any event, she was on fire. And what I liked about Miss Neff, because I say something like, well, talk that talk then. That means if you're the real deal, your students will speak it for you. Whatever you do, you know a tree by its fruits, right? So she's in there, she's doing a math lesson, and so I go in and I'm looking around and I just have a couple questions. The kids, I see cupcakes, so I know kids are jabbed up, like, so somebody's about to have a birthday party, so I'm thinking, okay, these kids are being super good because, all this going on. So I'm going around and I'm asking, so I said, well, what is it, Miss Neff, that they're supposed to be doing? And she said, oh, Miss Jackson, they can explain. Someone tell Miss Jackson what the lesson is. Mic drop, because they told me what they were supposed to be doing and showed me. So I was just so excited about that. So great things are happening in our elementary schools. I told you when I was at in the Kenmore Garfield cluster how I was impressed by those schools, and now I'm in the Bookdale cluster, and it is great things happening. So it was a real delight to see that, to be able to witness those students being engaged, but more importantly, to witness the passion of the teachers in engaging the students. It's like these teachers exist, and they are here, and they are pouring out every day for our students. So again, I want to give shout outs to those exceptional educators, and I also want to thank those families for those wonderful learners that I have the pleasure to interact with. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Jackson. Anyone else?
Oh, it's first grade. It was in my notes. Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, hearing and seeing none, we will move to the next item on our agenda, which is the request to address the board. Each member who have asked to address the board will have 3 minutes to address us. We ask that if there's any issues that are directed at personnel, that you let us know, and we will recess into executive session to have that take any personnel complaints. Other than that, you have 3 minutes, and then we will give you a timer and a slight nudge when your time has lapsed. It's important for this board to hear from the various members of our community. And with that being said, we will hear first from Eunice Carter from Bookville CLC and her cheerleaders, who are some of the best cheerleaders in the city. Thank you very much, Nisi.
Thank you, Mr. President. Hello, my name is Eunice Carter, and I have the honor to be the coach of these wonderful, brilliant, beautiful Bookville cheerleaders. Woo! So I'm going to bring up and let the cheerleaders talk a little bit about some of the things that we have been doing. We have been doing a lot of community outreach, a lot of volunteering. I want these young ladies to know that they are magnificent, and when they are seen, they are powerful, they are educated, and they represent Bookville.
That's right.
Hi, my name is Rainaya Moore. I'm a senior at Bookville CLC. And I want to say thank you, Cleveland Browns, for our brand new turf field. We are really grateful.
Hi, my name is Mariana Cheatham, and I am an 11th grader at Bookville CLC. And I would just like to say, on me and the behalf of my team, we'd like to thank Ms. Jackson and Ms. Autry for doing everything you can for Bookville CLC.
Bless God. Thank you, dear.
Hello, my name is Sienna Harvey, and I would like to start this off by saying thank you for allowing Bookville to have an amazing campus principal, that is Ms. Beecher. And I would like to say we would love to have her as our permanent campus principal. Ms. Beecher is truly an inspiration for so many students here at Bookville. She cares about each and every student and truly wants the best for them. She also wants what's best for our school. And her positive attitude, as well as her determined mindset, has already made a huge impact on our school, as well as our staff. She always pushes us to do our best, wants us to be the best versions of ourselves, I feel. And our school is continuing to thrive with her as our campus principal. So if you guys could please take into consideration of having Ms. Beecher as our permanent campus principal, we will be forever grateful. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you for allowing us to speak, but we have all the cheerleaders. We want to give everyone in the room a token of our appreciation because you guys will continue to cheer on Bookville. You will hear great things. More great things are coming, and so we want you to be in solidarity with us and cheer us on. Go Griffs.
Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you so much. Thanks, Sienna. Am I doing it right? I got to learn to do this. Yeah. You got two.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
It is, I think it's going to be hard to follow that. But thank you very much to our Bookville CLC cheerleaders.
I'll see y'all on Wednesday. I'll be on Wednesday.
Pretty cool. Next we have Pastor Kyle Early from the Youth Empowerment League.
Good evening to the board president and board members and everybody that's here. I'm Pastor Kyle Early, and I serve as the director for the Youth Empowerment League, which is a program that you all have supported over the last 5 years. Today I'm here to say thank you for your continued support and all that you have done in helping us create a program that is incentive-based, that helps improve grades, behavior, attendance, and overall school climate. To date, we have been able to help over 700 kids within the Akron Public School System, and we have done what I believe is a great job of not just helping our students, but also providing wraparound services for their families. With that being said, the success of our program and with the support of you, as well as our COO who does our grants, the Youth Empowerment League has been awarded a $200,000 grant that we will be putting into Akron Public Schools this coming school year. Because of the fact that we had Bookto Cluster and East Cluster, we lost the Bookto Cluster due to sixth grade being removed out of elementary schools. We are looking to continue our expansion. And so one of the things that we have looked at is not just continuing the academic enrichment, social emotional learning, which we do with Minority Behavioral Health Group, but also continuing incentive-based programming that attracts students to certain schools to not only correct behavior, but to get them on a career path. Our future focus, and I do want to say, and I want us to give a round of applause to Sharday Hollins, who worked with the Ohio Department of Education to secure the grant that is coming to Akron Public Schools. So if we could give her a hand, I really appreciate it. With that being said, the expansion that we're looking at now is to go back into the Bookto cluster when we look at schools like Schumacher and Krause and others, to be able to have an impact on those second, third, fourth, and fifth, and sixth graders to help with literacy, as we see that that is a challenge within the school district. In the past, you all have given us $12,500 for the program. And those resources have helped really go towards supplies and given stipends to those who volunteer their time. To date, we have over 20 volunteers that have worked for us and worked with us over the last 6 years. So in their absence, can we give them a round of applause as well? As I go to my seat, again, I am here to say thank you. Also to say that we're bringing resources to help to improve our scholars' lives and their success rate, but also asking Akron Public Schools to continue to support us, not just with what you have been giving us, but consider to match our dollars as we have brought state dollars here and other resources from the community to help with what we're doing. The data is there, the volunteers are there, the staff is there, and the support is there. And oftentimes what we lack is resources. So we've done it with nothing. Imagine what we can do if we had something to work with. Again, thank you all for believing in a dream and what we stand for, which is not a moment, it's a movement, which simply means that the work that we do today is for generations we may never see. God bless you. Peace and blessings.
Thank you very much, Mr. Early, and I think that you and your organization have done a great job. And as our district has been talking about how do we work with the city and other partners to better coordinate our after-school programs, I do think that hopefully we can find a way to further support and supplement the work that you're doing, which has been phenomenal. So can we just give you a round of applause for your work? And thank you very much. And as we move to the other items on address the board, request to address the board, do we have Claudia Perez here? All right. And Pastor Harrison.
Good evening. Brother President, I sent you a text, and I'm going to ask to defer my comments because all this positive energy in the room, I don't want people to think that when I come up here that I'm going to kill the positive energy. So in respect to Bookto cheerleaders, in respect to Pastor Early, in respect to the Sojourner Truth Project, I'm going to ask to defer my comments if I could.
Yes, that is perfectly fine. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And that concludes our request to address the board. We will now move to communications with the Sojourner Truth Project and hear from the phenomenal Tawanda Mullins and Adam Motter, who's also phenomenal.
And Margaret Maurer, who's
I'm
extra
sorry.
phenomenal.
And Mark.
Thank you, President Akbar, the board, Superintendent Fowler Mack, others within APS, Dr. Caver, others. Thank you as well for being here and the work that you do. For those who don't know me, I am Akron Public Schools first, okay? Glover, Goodrich, Garfield. So I must make sure you understand I am APS. My name is Tawanda Mullins. I am the chair of the Sojourner Truth Project, Akron. We are the committee that decided to move Akron's history forward. And we're so glad to be here tonight. Thank you for the time that you set aside for us to just share the progress that we've made. You know some of the history, but I'm gonna go over the overview anyway. I'm gonna speak to you why Sojourner Truth Plaza and the actual statue is so important for the community. Sojourner Truth was a brave example of leadership in the women's suffrage movement, and we understand this the civil rights movement of the 19th century. Although she was born into slavery, her story could have changed, but it didn't, because she was courageous and she had you and me in mind. That's why her story didn't stay enslaved. In May of 1851, you know Sojourner Truth was here. Our proud Akron history here. She asked God often to guide her steps, and she was here. We understand that she wasn't invited, but she attended anyway. She was asked to not to speak, but she rose to advocate for all voting rights, including women of color. Her speech challenged that exclusion of women of color. And that was the speech here in Akron that electrified the women's suffrage movement, which all students should know about. The Sojourner Truth Project Committee, myself, Margaret, and others, you may recognize some names on the board there. These are the individuals that have been working over the last 4+ years. That's right, 4+ years. She will be elected in 2023, that will make it 5. That time that these individuals spent can be calculated, duplicated, or replaced. But this project has poured more into me than I poured into this project. Next slide. In 2019, various organizations were just meeting, just trying to see what can we do just to move into the 100th celebration of the women's right to vote. So that would have been 2020, correct? Then COVID came upon us. So the project paused. I said we're going to keep moving on the project because, one, we're not the first group to see it as deemed appropriate to have this history erected here in Akron. There had been 2 other teams that had this march. And so we stand on those shoulders of a Faye Hirsch Danbrock. And we understand that. That is why we're able to catapult and move history forward. The prior endeavors led us to 3 core committees. The statue committee, what did they task? Where can this statue go? Where can we put a plaza of this magnitude? The education committee, you're gonna hear from Margaret Maurer. We were tasked, Adam, myself, Margaret will give you the other names. We were tasked, you know what, we got this beautiful plaza that would be great in this statue. The stewards are the children. If time has the normal cadence, they're gonna enjoy the plaza far longer than I will, at a normal cadence. So this is generations. So to have this, and you don't align to education, it means nothing. So this is why the education has worked diligently to align the project with our students. Also, the communications committee. So if you know of anyone that wants us to present, that's how we got to $800,000 today. Environments just like this. I get a phone call, email, I set it up, we present, and that is how we went from 0 to $800,000 for this project. Next slide. Stay right there, Adam. I'm sorry. Can you go back one? I need to talk about who we're partnered with. I don't know who's heard of the National Trust of Historic Preservations, the African American Arts and Cultural Action Fund. They partner with us. They want Akron's project to be a national platform. So they're going to take everything that we've done to date. I just send them a report, and they're literally going to task us on their website $80 million. They go around the United States and beyond to make sure Black history is American history. And so they just gave out $30 million in 2022. And their eyes are on Akron, Ohio, and the leaders that are driving this project forward. We have a meeting with them every 2 weeks. The thought leaders come from all across the United States to pour into Akron, Ohio's project. Now you'll hear from Margaret about the Education Committee. Margaret.
So I have the very real pleasure of chairing the education team for this project. The team was recruited specifically to tell Sojourner Truth's story. It is imperative that the greater Akron community and our children understand why her legacy is so important to Akron. Team members include representatives from the Akron Public Schools, and it's been a really great partnership both for the schools and for our project. Here you can see Sojourner Truth Project team members Tawanda Mullins and Jackie Darrow with APS scholars at the Plaza location site learning more about the project. One of our goals is, as Tawanda said, to spread news about the project by offering presentations and programs like this one. And also by continuing to partner with other organizations. If you belong to an organization that would benefit from a presentation such as this one, don't hesitate to contact Tawanda. Another goal, which Akron Public Schools helped us with to a great extent, is the creation of a short video about Sojourner Truth. And the title of that video is Sojourner Truth, Our History. Thanks to a generous donation by Akron Public Schools, this video was able to be accomplished. It's intended to be used in the APS classrooms, either in whole or in part, and it's also intended to be used by the project. You can watch it anytime on YouTube. Simply go to the YouTube platform and search for Sojourner Truth Project Akron, and the video will be available to you. Next slide, please. This, I think, is one of my favorite parts about the project that we've done. We wanted to provide educators with tools and lesson plans so that they could simply plug these materials into their classrooms and make use of them. And that way we could foster education about her legacy here in Akron. The QR code on this page links to a web page full of educational resources, which have all been curated by the Akron Public Schools Teaching and Learning Department. I'd like to personally thank Karen Gijic, Dr. McWilliams-Woods, Adam Motter, Becca Miles, and Sam Cruz for their efforts in creating this treasure trove. Teachers and scholars from throughout Summit County region can now plug into these tools, and this is just the beginning of what we're going to develop at this website. Next slide, please. This is another example of how we've been partnering. Here you can see Sojourner Truth Project Akron, myself and Tawanda, at the NIFSTEM Middle School, where student scholars participated in a problem-based learning project focused on Sojourner Truth. Adam Motter and Sam Cruz and other NIFSTEM teachers, I want to thank you for setting up this project. We hope to utilize some or at least one of the student solutions as part of the educational experience at Truth Plaza. We have shared the students' efforts and ideas with the National Trust African American Cultural Heritage Fund's thought leaders. So hopefully they will make use of something that those brilliant kids came up with. Next slide, please. Akron Public Schools has done so much to support the project, and this slide provides a short summary. I would like to personally thank APS staff for their many contributions, I'd like to also thank Superintendent Fowler-Mack for sharing information about the resource page in particular with all the Summit County schools. I'd also like to thank APS board member Joe Perry for supporting the project by attending our video premiere this last week. As always, our goal is to continue partnering with our future, the youth. It's imperative that we honor our past by shaping our future. Tawanda Mullins will now continue the presentation.
Those are some great pictures, aren't they? It's more than that. We had the privilege of going to summer camps this summer. This particular picture, next, Adam, will be one of my favorites. That's an APS student, Aaron Porter. I'll never forget his name. I had a presentation with a couple of students. The students left and the teacher, and he turned around and ran back to me. The teacher told him, "No, Aaron, let's go." I said, "No, I want to hear Aaron." And so in that encounter, Aaron said, "Miss Mullins, I'm an artist. You talked about Woodrow Nash." I did. I said, "Aaron, what do you draw?" He said, "I draw everything." I said, "How long have you been drawing?" "Oh, since about the 3rd grade." I said, "Okay. Would you like to meet Mr. Nash?" His eyes got this big. I said, "I'm serious. You want to meet Mr. Nash?" I told him that Mr. Nash worked with Beyonce. Beyonce Black is King video awarded her the most Grammys, right? Well, Woodrow Nash art is in that video. Jay-Z is coming up the driveway. You know the video. Woodrow Nash art is on each side. Jay-Z is cruising up, looking at the artwork. Akron's own Woodrow Nash. I said, "Aaron, I'm gonna hook that up for you." He said, "Miss Mullins." I said, "I am." Told the teacher he can go. I need his phone number. I'll go through you so I can do everything decent and in order. I work in compliance. I work with attorneys. I need that kid's number, his parents' number, because I'm gonna set up this meet and greet. Woodrow had a professional photographer, I didn't know, on site, printing off 8x10 color photos of him and Aaron's interaction, hand signing each photo, T-shirts, books, calendars, gifts. Aaron brought a book pack of art, must have been this tall. We were there hours in the studio because he took each piece of art and he said, "Aaron, what is this?" He said, "That's a cartoon, so this is a cartoon. That's character so-and-so." And he told the stories of each piece of art. This is why we are here. Purpose-driven. It's for the students. It's for Aaron. It's for the other students that could believe they're a Deion Harris that can draw this. His picture's outside in the hallway. That's why we're here. For those students to believe. You see it, you believe it, then you achieve it. So this is one of my best interactions. And there's been plenty, don't get me wrong, in the summer camps, thanks to Adam Otter that I participated during the summer with Akron Public students. But now Aaron believes. And I believe he goes to Firestone, 11th grade. Adam could give you more information. Next slide. Deion Harris, architect, drew the plaza. Big photo in the hallway. The students, couple slides earlier, I tie when I speak to them. Who is Deion Harris and how does he relate to you? Who is Woodrow Nash and how does he relate to you? This is the encounter so we can make sure they get it. They get it. And more importantly, they're not going to repeat history. The fundamental right for all of us is to vote. And that is why Sojourner Truth came here. That's why she electrified the women's suffrage movement, so that we can have this fundamental right. Voting took place, and why you're sitting here today, or you wouldn't be sitting here. So we need to make sure that we support this project continually. Any organizations you belong to, speak about the project. You want us to present to a grandmother's club, we'll do it. You want us to present to your neighborhood block club, we'll do it. We present to Fortune 500 companies. I present to a team in Ghana on Wednesday. I presented to a team in Lebanon earlier this summer. The Impala Lily, really quick. We're going to seat Sojourner Truth right in the middle of an Impala Lily. You may have said, what are those big round, excuse me, Margaret. What are these shapes here? Go out and you'll see them better. There's the statue to honor her ancestry. So she'll be seated right in the middle of an Impala Lily. White Impala Lily, twisted roots at the bottom. Twisted roots, tango. Doesn't look very good at the bottom, but I dare you to look at the top. Absolutely beautiful, just like this project is. Next slide. Any questions, and please take down our email address. I will be sure to address any inquiries, questions, concerns today or when you email me in the near future. Thank you. Superintendent Fowler-Mack, we greatly appreciate your support. Thank you so much. Thank you, Adam.
Thank you very much. We definitely need to preserve that history. We will now move to the approval of previous meeting minutes of the regular meeting on 12 September 2022, as well as the special meeting on 12 September 2022. Is there a motion on the table?
So moved.
Then properly moved by Mr. Alexander. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Ms. Jackson. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing and seeing none, we'll do a roll call vote, please. Mr. Atkins?
Dr. Akbar?
Yes.
Mr. Alexander?
Yes.
Mrs. Autry?
Yes.
Mr. Perry?
Yes.
Ms. Jackson?
Yes.
Mrs. McKittrick?
Yes.
Thank you very much. We now move to personnel recommendations. Madam Superintendent.
Thank you, sir, and good evening to all of our board members and to our community, both present and virtual. I wish to recommend the approval of the personnel recommendations presented in categories 5 through 16.
Thank you very much. Personnel recommendations have been put on the table. Is there a motion?
I so move to accept.
It's been properly moved by Mr. Perry. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been seconded by Ms. Autry. Any discussion on the motion to approve the personnel recommendations? Hearing and seeing none, we'll do a roll call vote, please. Mr. Atkins.
Mr. Alexander?
Yes.
Mrs. Autry?
Yes.
Mr. Perry?
Yes.
Ms. Jackson?
Yes.
Mrs. McKittrick?
No on 6.4, yes on the balance.
Dr. Akbar?
Yes. Thank you very much. We now move to resolutions and motions on the consent agenda. Madam Superintendent.
I wish to recommend approval of the resolutions and motions presented in category 22. They are in proper format, and I move for their approval.
Thank you very much. It's been properly moved to do the resolutions and motions on the consent agenda. Is there a motion on the table?
I so move.
It's been properly moved by Mr. Perry. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been seconded by Mr. Alexander. Is there any discussion on the motion? Ms. Autry.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is just, I thought, worth mentioning on item 19.5 regarding the fresh fruit and vegetable program. I know we had some questions and scrimmage, and I just wanted to share for those who might be listening. This is a grant that we've received over the last 10 years where students from certain elementaries get extra fruit and vegetables throughout the day. So I know these young people are hungry a lot. I just think it's important that our families know that we do have this program, and it's individualized at each school as far as when they give that fruit out. But I do know that it is not able to be taken home. That was one of our concerns because we didn't want to see any of this fruit go to waste. But they, again, individualize it at each school to to make sure it's timed according to each individual classroom's needs. So I thought that was worth mentioning. And then also on item 19.8, regarding our Project Rise, I had asked about our numbers of homeless students in APS, and we're currently at 652, with an estimated 200 additional students who are outside of our district. And so we're on track to identify about 2,000 students that are homeless that we'll be serving. So, and it might even be higher just due to our housing situation here in Akron. So thankful for Project Rise and all that they do for our homeless families in the district. So I just wanted to share that information.
Thank you very much, Ms. Autry. Is there any other discussion? Mr. Alexander?
So I wasn't going to comment, but I do have to comment what Ms. Autry said. There's so many kids, and we don't realize it at times, how many kids are homeless, how many kids are out there, how many kids who can't get to school, how many kids have trouble getting to school, how many don't get fed. There are a lot of kids out there, and those are our kids, and we have to make sure that we do whatever it is that's in our power to help them, to make sure these kids get what they need, and as well as trying to help their families, because they need places to stay, and they need some stability, and so they can come to school and learn. So we have to understand that even when they're in our classrooms, that some of these kids, we got to understand where they come from in order to deal with them during the day. So I just had to say that. I wasn't going to say anything, Dr. Akbar, but I couldn't hold my tongue. I apologize.
No need to apologize, brother. Anyone else? Any other discussion? Ms. Autry?
I'm sorry, Mr. President. I also just wanted to comment on item 23.12 and 13 regarding roofing and gymnasium work
So
at
we're
Miller South.
not there yet?
Oh, okay. We're not. Sorry.
We're coming.
Okay, no problem. It's coming. It's coming.
Thank you. Next.
Any other discussion? Hearing and seeing none, we'll do roll call vote for resolutions and motion on the consent agenda. Mr. Atkins.
Mrs. Autry?
Yes.
Mr. Perry?
Yes.
Ms. Jackson?
Yes.
Mrs. McKittrick?
Yes.
Dr. Akbar?
Yes.
Mr. Alexander?
Yes.
Thank you very much. We now will move to business affairs recommendations. Madam Superintendent.
Sure, and we would like to recommend the approval of the business affairs recommendations in category 23. So I think that'll cover some of what Mrs. Autry plans to talk about.
Is there a motion on the table for the business affairs recommendations?
So moved.
It's been properly moved by Mr. Alexander. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been seconded by Mr. Perry. Any discussion on that motion? I don't think I see any. Ms. Autry.
Thank you, Mr. President. And so this is regarding item 2312 and 2313. There were just some questions regarding the roofing and gym work at Miller South as far as when that work would be done. And so some of the responses we received back, if this is approved this evening, it allows us to place the order for the materials with the vendor. And so at that point, they can develop a schedule as far as when the work will be done. But some work can be done while students are in school, while others will have to take place on different breaks. So I just wanted to, again, say that publicly because there were questions regarding when that work would be completed. And I think the goal was by next fall. That's all. Thank you.
Okay. Any discussion on that motion? Any other discussion? Hearing and seeing none, we will do a roll call vote, please. Mr. Atkins.
Mr. Perry?
Yes.
Ms. Jackson?
Yes.
Mrs. McKittrick?
No on 23.4, 23.9, 23.12, 23.13, 23.23, and 23.24. Yes on the rest.
Dr. Akbar?
Yes for everything but 2312 and 2313. No on those two.
Mr. Alexander?
Yes.
Mrs. Autry?
Yes.
Thank you very much. We will now move to Superintendent's report. Madam Superintendent?
Sure, thank you very much. So I'm going to start by sharing news that I think fits with the kind of atmosphere in our board meeting today, which is good news and kindness, because we're in another year and we're picking back up on our focus in our districts to really to promote, to capture, and to encourage acts of kindness. So we are in a new year, and I'll start by telling a quick story that Vashti, one little girl in a story, The Dot by Peter Reynolds, finds out how making a mark in the world can lead to amazing things in that book. Reading that book, the Resnick team posed this challenge. They asked their teachers and students, help us cover the walls of Resnick with dots of kindness. So in conjunction with the APS initiative, Be Kind 330, the staff at Resnick encouraged all students, staff, and families to capture kindness by writing. In circle-shaped pieces of paper, they covered the walls with acts of kindness witnessed and done every single day. All of the circles were added to the walls throughout the building. Messages on the circles came from their families, teachers, community members, and students. They then celebrated International Dot Day on top of everything on September 15th, because there is such a thing. A lot of dot outfits were seen on that day, and you can see one boy in the photo even created a dot shirt for himself from small pom-poms to get into the spirit of the day. Now, when our students see dots as an extension of that story, they not only will have the message from the story about making a tremendous mark, they will also connect that to kindness. We hope you will too when you see dots. So there are some photos on the screen from International Dot Day, and then they put it out on social media to also encourage others to be kind throughout 330. So just wanted to bring another examples. Our schools continue to submit examples, and hopefully as you're visiting schools, you're seeing evidence of Be Kind 330 still alive and well in our schools. Thank you. Some other things that I just wanted to mention is that starting tomorrow, there will be quite a bit of extra activity happening in our district, because the Akron in Action conference that is showcasing our work around college and career academies in conjunction with our community will be occurring. So over 200 individuals will be in town and coming from various parts of the country, including as far away as Alaska, who has a big team that will be in town, will be coming to see our work in action. They understand that we are very much so on a journey, but want to be able to engage with our students, our staff members, community persons who are deeply committed to our schools and our district's success. Our hope is not only to be able to showcase all of the many great things that are happening throughout the Akron Public Schools, but also it's always an opportunity to get feedback. So we look forward to the feedback that will help us to continue to grow. So the kickoff for that is tomorrow, and then over the next 3 days, we will incorporate lots of visitors into our buildings to do that. We also will welcome our state superintendent is able to come, so she will be one of those visiting as well. So we're excited to have she and members of the State Board of Education also present to be able to see the good work happening in Akron. I also wanted to make mention of the Father's Walk. I was speaking this week with Mark our communications person, Mark Williamson, and he was just saying, wow, the numbers have just really increased with that. And so that's a testament to our dads and to just the men of our community, because there were many people who walked and supported just young men in their lives. They aren't the biological fathers, things of that nature, but it is a time where we can show up and just remind our students how valuable they are and that they are surrounded by support. So watching social media the evening and seeing all of the many posts with persons who with pride stood up and walked on behalf of young people, it was an exciting thing. And I think visually for our students to see that that type of strong participation and care and concern, it will just again shape their minds to give their best, to be their best and to give their best. So kudos to all of the men of our community that were able to participate in any way, because some were able to physically be there, others supported so that other people could be there. So there's many ways to continue to participate in that. Also, too, I just wanted to kind of close the loop with the board. At our last meeting, we did have some speakers here, some of our educators that came to voice their concerns around our literacy program and some of the training that's been occurring in the district. And we not only are a team in a district who celebrates, we also continue to really listen deeply and to adapt and adjust along the way because we want to ensure that our teachers are supported and that we can get through some of the mandates that are coming, but in ways where we are creative and are able to meet their needs. So the team and I did meet with the group of teachers who came to speak to you. We were able to spend time clarifying things around the Ohio Revised Code that requires now the dyslexia training that teachers must be trained by a particular point in time. And right now we are focused on our kindergarten through first grade teachers. So we were able to review what's in the law and what must be done. And then we were able to talk through why it is we selected the program, the Language Essentials for It program, and one that when you look in the research of best practice is really strong in supporting teachers and preparing them to meet the needs of learners, and especially learners in urban environments like ours is a mixed environment. And so especially having the skill set to meet the range of learners that are before them. We did share a bit of the also research that we had done around who else is using letters. And so we do know that 6 of the 8 large urban school districts have facilitated learning training cohorts of teachers throughout our state. And again, I think we have deferred to what is proving to be evidence-based in the long run of supporting. I think the fact that it's a strong series was not really in question, so all understand that and know that. Of concern was the amount of time that it takes to go through the different training elements. And towards that end, we have been listening and adapting and adjusting. And so if you go through the full program of training, that is where we had some that came and spoke to the 120 hours. It is both that for the training itself, for engaging in the training itself, and to participate in some of the activities to be able to complete any type of certification with that program. We are only requiring for our teachers the first 4 modulars, because when we look at the content within the first 4 modulars, that is the content that lines up to the expectations of the state. And so with those modules, it is half of the time. It is still some time. So there is no scenario that won't require us in some way, shape, or form while we're meeting the law to not spend some time. But we've tried to do that with staff members by offering a variety of ways in which that training can be done. So persons had the opportunity to be compensated for that if they wanted to do it before or after school time. They also had the opportunity to have release time with substitute support to do that during the school day. And then some started even early during the summer before the year actually got started when it wasn't competing with those types of options. We understand that, in our business, in the education business, time is one of those things that is always quite challenging given the calendar year of a school, because you're on, during the day. So we're very empathetic to staff members and are willing to continue to adjust and to help us all be, meet the spirit of what we must do, but to be as flexible and supportive as we can. So we're continuing to add opportunities for the training. Again, we did even increase the amount of time that persons were able to be compensated for the training. So we asked the vendors on average, how much time does it take for a staff member to go through the training? They gave us a number. We upped that number to make it as flexible as possible for our staff members. And we will continue to listen. We will continue to listen and to adjust. But even since the start of the year, we have made adjustments in the types of supports, in the range of compensation, and have continued through surveying our staff members to ask them what they prefer most. The other thing that was asked about was the ELA adoption. And the ELA adoption, there were questions that were raised about the timing of it, and some persons spoke about some of the materials and whether or not all of the materials were in all of the schools. Most of our materials have arrived. We did, if you recall, I think it was May 23rd, and I could get that date to be exact, but the board approved the curriculum in May. And we were able to start having trainings available in June. So there were a range, a high range of trainings that were offered in the summer for those that wanted to take advantage of exploring some of the opportunities around the adoption. But then we also had trainings that were available initially during the course of, at the start of the school year. That too is something that will continue over time, because as teachers get familiar with the curriculum, they will continue to have and need support to make sure that we are using those materials as effectively as possible. There were some delays in some of the different pieces and parts arriving. I think the whole supply chain issue that, if you order something even for yourself at home now, you get the alerts that remind you that shippings are taking longer than usual. So there are some instances where some of the materials didn't come in right away, but we have quickly tried to supplement and to make sure teachers have what they need. In summary, I guess one of the things I want you to know that we're listening, we're adapting, and we will do everything in our power to make our teachers' lives as manageable as possible, as they are the front line who work with our students. And so most of us were classroom teachers, so we're really, really sensitive to that fact. The demands on educators in in this day and age, post the pandemic time, is daunting. So stress is high, stress is real, stress for adults, for families, and for students. So we're conscious of that and doing all we can to get ready to offer even more things around well-being, mental health services and things like that as we continue to meet our academic demands. It was not our choice to have, to be implementing the new curriculum at the same time at the mandate from the state around dyslexia, but it actually is ending up being a blessing in disguise, because the what teachers are learning through the training about how to instruct and how to understand what students' needs, we now have curriculum and tools that actually can support that understanding. So the two actually go hand in hand, but we will have to get through this moment of time where it's new and somewhat stressful in doing so. So I just wanted to provide you with that information to know that we were listening. We will continue to listen and adapt, and we will continue to support our educators. Lastly, in terms by way of just updates to the board, I just wanted to also say that there are great things happening. And so thank you as board members for your support in going out to our buildings and observing not only our students in the classrooms, but observing and giving us feedback on the range of activities that are available for them, courses, things of that nature, because we're working hard to make sure that for each child in our system that they really are able to have a broad array of experiences as they develop a vision for their future, to be employed, to enlist, or to further their education at the higher education level. So that really it plays itself out not only in the quality of teaching and learning that's occurring, but in their whole experiences. And so we are trying to increase the numbers of experiences and supports that are available to them. And so just want to thank you for your active engagement and to know that it's meaningful to us and giving us that feedback. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Are there any questions for Madam Superintendent? Mr. Perry?
Not so much a question, but a comment. I just wanted to personally thank Madam Superintendent for following up. I know a lot of teachers that reached out to me professionally and casually about the ELA requirements, and they were, obviously very, understanding of what had to happen and how much time they would have to do on those things. But following up is a big deal, and I thank you for doing that. And I'm sure they'll be satisfied at this point with what you've told them about the new requirement. So thank you, Superintendent.
Any other questions or comments? Ms. Autry?
Thank you, Mr. President. This is regarding the dyslexia training. Would it be accurate to say that the 18-hour requirement was decided by legislators and not educators, and there's in fact no such 18-hour training that even exists?
Yeah, that is very accurate. And so I think they began to use that term when the legislation was passed, and those were not the educators. So by the time we got the educators fully engaged, and ODE then created the list of here are the programs, the training that will satisfy that requirement, none of those are 18 hours.
Any other questions? I do have one just to clarify. I think I just want to make sure that I heard you correctly around the amount of time. So the 4 modules that the teachers will have to do, you stated it was half time. is that half of the 120, which means it's 60, or just want to make sure what halftime means.
Yes.
Okay. So if I could ask, since that's 60 hours, which is still 3 times the amount that the state requires, what has been the teacher feedback?
So the state required the content to be completed. There are those that anticipated it would take that amount of time. So I'll do some other checking to see if the state required hours or the content. But in any regard, the majority of our teachers are moving right along, and so we are supporting. I think everyone would prefer to not have an additional mandate this year. So I think, so I think that's the bottom line of it. But I also believe that we have been responsive and are getting it done. And almost to a person as they go through it, they will say it's good training. So there's the quality of it, the worth has not been in question whatsoever. A lot has to do with the time to get it done, how to get it in, and we'll have to keep listening. So I'm not here to say, oh, everybody's loving it. I think there is a preference not to have to do the training, but we do.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Based off what I heard, just to kind of go to the clarity, I didn't hear any of the teachers say that they didn't want to do it. I think it was all about the time, and that's why I asked about the 60 hours. If it was time and then also deadline. So there was some date, and I don't remember it off the top of my head, but in October that they talked about that they needed to have a certain set of it completed by. And I think that's the concern, and that's what I wanted to just clarify for those teachers that are watching. Now that they know that 60 hours for 4 modules, when do they have to have that completed by?
Sure. We continue to revisit the timeline, so I don't have the timeline in front of me to be able to quote that accurately, but we have been adapting it and making adjustments to make sure the timelines are pacings, so that when we anticipate the majority of the staff would be ready to move on those things so that they get it all done. There is a timeline established associated with this mandate that says by a certain point, educators do have to be done so that they are appropriately credentialed. And so that's why we focused a lot on our K-1 teachers, because that timeline comes first for that group before it does the 2nd and 3rd grade teachers as well. So we're pacing it as we can be flexible. We will be flexible. Again, the majority are moving along nicely. And so I know we provided you with some, actual figures of teachers, but we can do that as well. So we are listening, we are adapting, we are willing to support in whatever ways possible so that we can get this done and also use it to the benefit of our students who need that. Because if we tie it back as well to our most recent report card and some of our larger goals, literacy and especially early literacy is something that, we wish to improve in. And we know it sets our students up for a trajectory of being even better prepared to make those college career types of decisions if they're very strong readers.
Thank you very much. Any other questions? Ms. Jackson?
First of all, I would like to thank you, Superintendent, because I think that was a lot of information. It was very helpful to give some insight. Additionally, we do know that early detection of students with dyslexia issues will completely change the trajectory for those students, and the teachers being equipped to earlier identify that and put things in place will set our students up for success. And I've been hearing from all teachers that it's the quality of training. They think it's great training to have. And again, we get to the hours. My question, however, was, are these teachers able to use, and please clarify if I say anything wrong, I was understanding like for the kindergarten readiness assessment, they can use sub-hours for that. With the letters training, do they have that same liberty to use like sub-hours, meaning they can take off to focus on that while a substitute teacher is in their classroom?
They can.
Okay, because I think that's good to know as well as far as that. I think that was pretty much the question that I had in regard. Oh, the other question I had, because I've been hearing some discussions within education that this specific training, and you probably can clarify this for me, Superintendent, that because it is a state mandated training, I know the question was to hear that it's only going to be 18 hours. And then you get hit with 120, and even if 60, it's like, this is a problem, because why would you do this to us on the brink of everything else that's happening? So I think I heard you say that you're going to get more information and clarify that it wasn't necessarily that someone may have said hours thinking based off the content or the objective that it could have been completed within this time, but when the actual initiative rolled out, that was not a feasible thing.
Yes, I will get clarity as to kind of who said what.
Okay.
But the approved list, it is clear from the approved list of programs that they don't correlate to 18 hours. Okay. So there is no correlation of that to the 18 hours. We also, just for your knowledge, we tried to go a step further into hopefully make this as useful as possible for our teachers. So our teachers as well will be able to, once they complete the modules 1 through 4, we've partnered with the University of Akron to be able to offer some graduate credit hours. So in addition to being supported and finishing it, they will also be able to have some graduate credit hours, because this is a course in the science of reading, so that they'll be able to use that as they renew licensure and things of that nature. So we were trying to also think of how could we make this as beneficial, some other supports that might be helpful to our teachers as well.
Which I think is excellent, which leads me to my final question, or statement. So will this training, once they complete it, will they have a certification in dyslexia, like some type of, that certifies them in identifying or having taken this dyslexia training, where it would be added into their professional development?
So I'm going to defer to Nicole. This is like what was the reading endorsement. Okay, so we believe it's going to be like the reading endorsement. So we're still trying to get information from the state, because while this also started with a concern and legislation that had to do with detecting dyslexia, actually the approved programs go a bit further. It really can benefit all children, those with dyslexia or just emerging readers. And so because it's rooted in the science of reading, the how and the so what do you do? Yeah.
Okay, yeah, because for teachers that's good to build up their treasure chest. If it's a reading endorsement, then absolutely. If it's like that same program, then absolutely, because they can attach it to their licensure and it makes them more marketable. Or it gives them, if that in fact is the case. So I think that's what I wanted to ask about. Lastly, now this training, to not meet the requirements of this training, could this compromise teachers professionally when we're looking at license renewal? Because I know when certain things are added, like I have to do to keep all my license active, I have to do yearly professional development, even though I'm in a charter school, but I'm licensed by the state as a teacher and administrator, I still have to go to professional developments and add that to my professional, record with the state, right? So if they don't meet this requirement, is it more at risk than just, okay, this is a lot of work, we can't do it? Could it possibly impact their livelihood? That was a question I had.
So my honest answer is I'm not sure. What we are responding to what the law says. So the law does say by a certain time these teachers have to be done. Now we could, kind of gamble and say, we'll wait to see, what happens. We don't believe that to be in our best interests, things of that nature. So we really want to position our staff for the greatest success, knowing again that this is useful. This is useful training that will help us improve in areas where we wish to do so as a system anyway. So not sure at the end of the day what the actual consequences, from the state, but do know that the state did call for this training by a certain time period.
Okay, thank you for that, Superintendent. And just for priority's sake, because it's mandated by the state, there's other trainings that we could have or initiatives that we could have been trying to push as a district that they may not have to complete in a professional development or something that they can do later on or the previous year to complete these things?
I think I know exactly what you're saying. And because of this requirement and the time that it takes, one of the things we're doing, especially with the people around the room, is constantly calling the question of what can we take off of people's plates? How do we not add on, additional things when they're already working through a new curriculum, really having a year where we're able to get our arms wrapped around the needs of our students. So we are trying to be disciplined to making sure that we're not continuing to add additional requirements to the plate. Now, there are some things we must do. So in all fairness, and that's what I said to teachers, because one of the teachers asked me, will you promise that you all will not ask us to do anything new? And I told her what I promise is that we are going to be disciplined to that. I don't know what else will come up this year, and we have to be responsive to our students' needs. So I don't want to give you a blanket promise and then have to eat those words, but we will be very disciplined to making sure that we're not adding to the plate, and actually that we're trying to remove things, even if they're good things, to say we really want to have the time and energy to be able to do a few things well.
Thank you very much. Any other questions for Madam Superintendent? Hearing none, we will move to the President's report. And I wanted to first just start by sharing that we have embarked on our Treasurer and Chief Financial Officer search process, and that position is posted, and any interested parties can apply through our Ohio School Board Association. We did a press release, I think that was last week, about that. And we're seeking, the board is seeking a thought partner and financial leader for our district who reports to the board and collaborates with our superintendent. This person also will serve as the liaison, parliamentarian, and secretary to the board, and our custodian of record. And so we're confident that we will find another exceptional CFO for our district. And again, I'm appreciative of Ryan Pendleton's staying on board with us as treasurer of record for the rest of this year. Also, today, this board is set to deepen its commitment to transparency, accessibility, and public participation. In a few moments, we will go to our committee reports, and we will discuss two policies. These two policies are policies that I introduced over a year ago that our board should take on and tackle. And we're finally at the final reading stage for the live streaming and student assignments or student boundary lines policies. And both policies are aimed at better aligning the public who we serve into our board's proceedings. And in 2022, it may seem odd that we're just now having a conversation or approving a policy to live stream or to include the public in our boundary zone settings. But we are here to promote greater transparency and accessibility to the public. And the other piece of that is around helping our public understand and engage in the process, because we have better processes when we engage more people who are affected by what we do. And so these policies are bringing the Open Meetings Act, which we abide by, that Ohio has decided was our standard of operating, into a 2022 context. And when we think about equity and accessibility, both of these policies are advancing our commitment to you, the citizens of Akron. And so for our live streaming policy, we know that not every person has the flexibility to attend all of our meetings in person or even to watch on the day we hold our meetings. And so the policy strengthens our fidelity to our responsibility to broaden our commitment to the public. This board believes that this will help our community to participate in our board meetings as much as they are able to do so and they're willing to do so. And we believe that it's imperative that we provide this opportunity for our to hear from our residents. And we do not believe that this policy will have us alter any way that we operate as a board or how we conduct our business. It will, however, give each of our community stakeholders an eye into our processes to understand how we arrive at the votes that we arrive at in our regular board meetings, which is important to cultivate and maintain the trust of our community and in our schools. And that's what we need, as we know there's a public assault on public schools. And so the more we can do to elevate that trust is what we should be doing. And in that same vein, we are on the path of approving the student assignment boundary line policy. And over the years, there have been many complaints and community concerns that the boundary lines and student assignments were changed to fit increased student populations at one school or another. Whether it was done intentionally, unintentionally, or at all doesn't really matter. What matters is that engaging the community prior to making changes is aimed at reducing these type of complaints by requiring at least 2 public hearings about any changes, notifying the affected families of the possibility of a change, and ensuring that the community elected board members have a direct role in this process, as we are the ones the community holds accountable. So we remain diligent in our pursuit to equity, transparency, and community engagement, really as we achieve excellence through equity. So just wanted to give those brief remarks and appreciate the board for their commitment and steadfast focus on getting us here. So any questions? Hearing and seeing none, we will move to the Treasurer's Report. Mr. Atkins?
Yes, Ryan wanted me to talk about the appropriations that were approved by you guys this evening. They are not the 5-year forecast. They're the permanent appropriations that are required by law, high-rise code, to be approved before October 1st. You approved the temporary appropriations back in June. They were in place until today for the permanents. The academic priorities reflected in the budget include harnessing the ESSER funds to improve the academic performance. The general fund in the permanent appropriations has safe, warm, dry components incorporated for necessary repairs and construction throughout the year. And items to watch throughout the year include the safe, warm, dry needs, impact of negotiations, and staffing. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Atkins. Any questions? Hearing and seeing none, we will now move to our committee reports, legal contracts, and board policy. Mr. Alexander.
Yes, thank you, President Akbar. We met on 9/19, the policy committee, and present was Dr. Akbar, Mr. Perry, Ms. McKittrick, Superintendent Fowler Mack, Ms. Lash, and I thought there was one more person. Did I miss someone? I don't know if I'm missing someone who may have attended, and our legal attorney, Diana Fidel. And we started the meeting with the live stream meeting. We had a very robust discussion on that. There were some questions that came up, some things that we want to look at, and questions to possibly change so we can strengthen the policy. So we did that. Diana Fidel led that, as well as Superintendent Fowler Mack. And we finalized that policy, and we will have that this evening for our third and final reading. We also did, as Dr. Akbar mentioned, the assignment within the district. Again, there was some discussion there, some things that we needed to change and move around in that policy as well, but we came to a conclusion that we were at the point that we were ready to have this for our third and final reading again this evening, and so we will do that. We also briefly discussed the student name and pronouns, as well as the staff name and pronouns, and those two policies will still need some more work, still need input from staff and from the district, as well as having our legal person, Diana Fidel, look at those and make sure that we are on track with those, and we will hopefully get those underway as we move forward. And finally, we also, Superintendent Fowler Mack came to us and let us know that we will be getting more policies, because Neola has some policies that we're a little behind on, and so we will get more policies that will be coming to us in order to hopefully go over those policies, see if they're ready to be moved forward, and then get the readings that we need to pass those policies. The meeting started at 5:47 p.m. We ended at 6:56 p.m. And with that, that was our meeting. I do have some policies that I want to read. So in order for us to accurately reflect the current state of the law and operation of the district, we have the following third reading and final reading for the current policies. Policy 0165.4, live stream broadcast of board meetings. Policy 5120, assignment within the district. This is our third and final reading for these two, and I make a motion that we move forward with these policies.
Thank you very much. It's been moved by Ms. Alexander to accept the two policies, 0165.4, live streaming of the broadcast of board meetings, as well as the 5120, assignment within the school district. Is there a motion on the table? I'm sorry, is there a second on the table?
Second.
It's been seconded by Mrs. McKittrick. Any discussion on the motion? Yes.
I did apologize, Mrs. McKittrick. I need to ask her, as well as Mr. Perry, was there anything that they thought I missed out for our reading?
No, you covered it.
Okay. Yep. All right. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much. Is there any discussion on that motion? Ms. Autry.
Thank you, Mr. President. Regarding policy 5120, I guess my question is around, I guess it's item D, the things that we would be considering when making recommendations or changes, the effectiveness of the instructional program. I was just wondering, like, is there an example of how that would affect the recommendations, if a program is effective or not? Would that make us say yes to a change or no? Like, what's an example of how that would affect the recommendation?
So still, I would be bringing a recommendation to the board around the, any type of boundary modification. And right now, we're using a process in long-term planning where we're considering 4 factors. So we're considering enrollment trends, we're considering the academic programming, and so not only the impact across the board to make sure that there's equity in academic programming, we're considering the facilities themselves, the facility, the capacity, things of that nature. And then we're also considering choice, those sorts of things, the choice and how that's impacting boundaries and, program decisions itself. So there is criteria. We would review that criteria. We would review the criteria of decision-making for boundaries and then make recommendations against that.
So I guess my concern is, would it ever get to a point where we would say, well, this program is not effective at this particular school, so therefore we wouldn't expand their boundaries? Does that make sense? I don't know.
Well, right now our boundaries are more geographic in nature. And all of our schools, we have the ability, we have a process by which if parents want to choose for other reasons outside of geography, I live near that school, they can do so. But there are instances where we would look at a academic program, and that's not necessarily tied to this boundary, and just say a program is successful or it's not successful, and we need to intervene and or change direction. But not necessarily would the boundary moves. We would always consider the impact, positive and negative, of any boundary decision, and would share that in terms of how this move would impact the program, how this move would impact, long-term viability, because we have to be able to sustain all of our schools. And part of the reasons why you usually adjust some of the boundaries is you're solving for some issue. It might be an access issue. It might be equitable distribution of students. So happy, as we get more into long-term planning, and we're going to have actually a stakeholder committee engaged in that process, we'll talk more about applying boundary types of decisions.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anyone else? So I have one thing. I did send this out to the whole board. We had at the committee meeting, we did discuss one minor change to the policy that didn't get captured here. So I just wanted to read it. This is for the student assignment policy, the second paragraph, where it says at least every 4 years, the superintendent shall review existing attendance areas and report to the board on whether the changes to the attendance areas are justified. We agreed that the superintendent will review the assignment areas every 4 years, regardless if changes are recommended or not. And so I think that what we should do is strike the and report to the board and change that to the board and superintendent will discuss district needs as we discussed in our board meeting. So I'm going to move to make that amendment and waive those 3 readings for that online.
So we asked him to do what now? And I think this is something we probably, what are we asking to do now? And I think this is something we probably should have discussed so everybody would know ahead of time instead of to the meeting. If there was an email that was sent out, I'm not sure when it was. I didn't see an email to be able to look at this instead of looking at it in such a moment as this here, in order to see what we're talking about, to talk about it, and then to go from there. So I think that should have come up in our meeting before we had these 3rd readings.
Yeah, so it did. It just didn't get captured in what's in board docs. That's why I wanted to make sure that it was captured. We agreed that the superintendent would review the attendance areas at least every 4 years with the board, regardless if there was recommendations or not. And right now, the way it reads, which is what was supposed to change, is that that the superintendent will report to the board on whether changes in the attendance areas are justified. And so we're saying strike and report to the board and change that to, and the board and superintendent will discuss district needs.
Okay.
Right. There was a review, again, of that language, and I think it's interpretation. So because we read that language to mean that the that it would be done every 4 years, but that there also would be pointing out if there were justified reasons for any type of boundary shifts. So it was based on the premise that every 4 years there would be a review done. So I just want to know, we did hear that and did work with legal around that.
Yeah, and as it reads, I read it as the superintendent will bring justification, but she's going to report to us regardless. So either way, the superintendent will report to the board this year, and we would have to be the ones who approve this, actually, that whatever her recommendations would be. So if she says they're going to change this boundary to this boundary, that has to come to us, and we would have to approve that. So to me, I just see it as, something we don't, maybe we should have brought it up ahead, or maybe talked about it before, a little bit before we got to this point. We had the third and final reading, but then it comes as the president is going to make a change that the committee has not even got a chance to. We maybe have talked about it and we thought it was here, but now it's not. And so I don't know when the email was sent out for that.
Right. So the discussion happened at the committee meeting, and we agreed that that's what we wanted, and that we would make that change. What's in board docs does not include that change. And so that's all I'm bringing to the attention. And when I noticed it, that's when I sent the email to the board. And so that's all I'm saying. And we can simply pass the motion to amend, to have that language replaced with the board and superintendent will discuss district needs, or we can move forward, or we can move the table, whichever one you would like to do. Yeah. But I just want to make it clear, we did discuss this and agree upon this at the committee meeting. So this is not new.
Well, I'm not saying everything is new. Okay, I'm just saying this is something that we should have made sure it was done ahead of time instead of coming to the board meeting and having this discussion. We should have had this at our committee meeting and made sure that when the policy had gone out that we said, okay, it was okay to move forward. Else we may have, and we could have made the changes instead of having the third reading at this point. I guess you would be making the executive decision on this if that's what you want, but I thought it was committees that do the work, and we come back and bring it to the board. So it would be up to the board, I guess.
So I just made a motion to have the policy reflect what we said in the board and the committee meeting. Anyone at the committee meeting have a different recollection? This isn't something that I'm just bringing up today.
Yeah, I'm saying what I thought I got was the final notice of this here, so that's why I said okay. If not, I would have said we need to probably discuss or make sure it was changed. And so, I mean, it's up to the board to make the decision anyway, and we can do that.
So is there a way to avoid confusion? I mean, what are our options at this point?
We have really three options. We can vote to approve it the way it is in board docs. We can accept the motion to amend and waive the three readings for that section that has the one amendment, or we can move the table it and bring it back at the next meeting. Those are the three options.
Well, can we see the final version then with the changes that we talked about at the meeting, with the changes that you're discussing now?
Yeah, I emailed it out to everyone.
What time did you email that?
At 4:45.
Today?
Yep.
I think that's not enough time for us to even get a chance to look at that. You know, we all have jobs, and I know I didn't have time to look at it because I was performing my job duty, so I wish it would have came
I understand. I didn't say that everyone was able to read it. What I said is the moment I saw it, I sent it out. So we can move the table it, and we can come back next meeting if you want.
Yeah, I moved to table it.
Thank you. Is there a second on that motion?
Second.
It's been properly moved by Mr. Perry, seconded by Mr. Alexander to table the student assignments within district policy 5120. Mr. Pendleton, roll call vote, please.
Ms. Jackson?
Yes.
Mrs. McKittrick?
Yes.
Dr. Akbar?
Yes.
Mr. Alexander?
We're voting to table it?
Voting to table it?
Yes.
Ms. Autry?
Yes.
Mr. Perry?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. We now have the live streaming policy motion still on the table, 0165.4. Is there a motion? Is there a second on the table to approve that policy?
Second.
It's been seconded by Mr. Perry. Any discussion on live streaming broadcast of board meetings? Hearing and seeing none, we will do a roll call vote, please. Mr. Pendleton.
Mr. Perry?
Yes.
Ms. Autry?
Yes.
Mr. Alexander?
Yes.
Dr. Akbar?
Yes.
Mrs. McKittrick?
Yes.
Ms. Jackson?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. We now move to finance and capital management. Ms. Autry.
No report.
Thank you very much. We will move to instructional policy and student achievement. Mrs. McKittrick.
No report.
And the equity committee. Dr. Hall is not here. Mrs. McKittrick.
No report.
All right. That moves us to, there's no unfinished business or new business, but we do have a need to recess into executive session pursuant to Ohio Revised Code 121.22G1 for the purposes of discussing employee or personnel of the district, and G4 for the purposes of reviewing negotiations and bargaining sessions with employees concerning compensation or other terms and conditions of employment. Is there a motion on the table?
So moved.
It's been properly moved by Ms. Autry. Is there a second?
Second.
It's a second. We now stand in recess for executive session.
You need a roll call.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're right. We will do roll call vote, please. Mr. Pendleton.
Sorry about that. Just
No,
not
you're
exactly.
fine.
We have to. Mrs. McKittrick?
Yes.
Dr. Akbar?
Yes.
Mr. Alexander?
Yes.
Ms. Autry?
Yes.
Mr. Perry?
Yes.
Ms. Jackson?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. We now stand in recess for executive session at 7:27 p.m. We will return, and I do not believe there's an item to return to vote on. So we stand in recess.